Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Notice I'm not doing random thoughts on Thursdays with this one, so forgive me if you're waiting for my normal intro and I'm not using it. It's been like forever since I've filmed a vlog. Obviously, if you've seen any of my earlier vlogs, it's been a bit of a rough year for me, and I've been really sick the last couple months, and so it's really put a damper on me trying to film videos. And even before that, to be perfectly honest, I just couldn't think of anything to film. I think the last thing I filmed was my thoughts on the Orlando shooting, and my video stopped recording halfway through and I didn't know it, so that was kind of discouraging after everything else going on. So I just stopped wanting to make videos for a while, and I'm slowly but surely kind of coming out of the funk and coming out of my illnesses and feeling better, and finally wanting to kind of come back and start making vlogs again and start writing up my blogs and various other types of social media and things like that, just kind of coming back into some of the stuff that I've done over the years and I've kind of stepped away from. And I figured this week was probably a good week to come back, because this video is going up on, basically it's the 5th anniversary of this channel. I launched this channel 5 years ago. I can't believe it's been 5 years. And the whole impetus of me doing anything on YouTube was I wanted to do a countdown to my 40th birthday. Obviously I'm turning 45 this year, it's been 5 years. And so that was what kind of got me into vlogging in the first place. Was I recorded basically starting from 40 days before my birthday, and I recorded memories of each year that I was alive, and for up to, so let's say like when it was 5 days before my 40th, I was like, what did I do when I was 5 years old? So kind of like backwards progression of my life. And that was really fun to do, and trying to come up with things that I remembered from each specific year, which wasn't easy to do, let me tell you. And obviously anything younger than about 5, a lot of that that I talked about were memories from things that people told me. I actually did have some specific memories as far back as age 3. And which was, some people are amazed by that, but I did have some very specific memories at the age of 3, but before that I just didn't. So I think I just kind of filled in with just stories that my grandmother told from my first couple of years of being alive. So that was a fun project to do, and it was, I still can't believe it was 5 years ago. And I was doing that, I had already moved in with my husband at the time. We weren't married yet. Yeah, because we would have been married 4 years this year. So this would have been, I started this channel about a year before we got married. It's just, it's amazing how time flies, and it's amazing how events like losing my husband this year just kind of makes you kind of think back on everything. And to be perfectly honest, it just has made me appreciate everything that I still have in my life, as much as a gaping hole that I have now after losing Dave. There's just makes me appreciative of the things I do still have in my life. I have some really amazing friends who have really been there for me the last 7-8 months now. And I'm so grateful that I have these friends in my life. They have been wonderful. They've helped me with so many different things. I'm not going to go into details or anything, but that has been like the part that's gotten me through this year so far, is just the support and love and encouragement of my friends and my family. Most of my family is distant. All my family is distant, other than my in-laws and things. I have a brother-in-law and stuff in town, and they've been amazing too, to be perfectly honest. So I've been so lucky that I have had the support system that I do. I know not everyone has that, and so again, I'm just really grateful that I've had that in place. Anyway, so yes, happy 5-year anniversary to this channel. And for anyone who actually might have been watching back then, and you're still watching now, thank you. I don't know if there's anyone like that out there. And if you haven't seen those videos, if you want to, all those videos are still on this channel. Just go to the channel URL. It's like youtube.com/Kleineganz, and then just go to the videos page and just scroll down to the bottom, and you'll find them. Actually, no, on the homepage as well. I think I've just kind of got a little playlist of those videos. If you just want to see the me from 5 years ago when I first started out with the very crappy camera I had at the time. So, I mean, not that the camera I use now is all that great. It's just a camcorder, but it is slightly better quality in high def and that kind of thing. I wasn't using high def back then. But, you know, I'm just, you know, the fact that I'm actually still around and I still have people watching my videos. I mean, I'm not getting, you know, millions of views and that kind of thing, but that wasn't the point of me launching this channel. I wasn't trying to become internet famous or anything like that. I just wanted to be able to spout things at a camera and post it up and let people hear my opinions and just kind of let it go out there, and you know, people can either enjoy it or they don't, and that's just the way it is. So anyway, and here I am 5 years later and I'm still making videos, even though not as regularly as I was, and I'm sorry about that. I am hoping to try and do more regular stuff, but I don't know if I want to get back into the whole random thoughts on Thursdays thing anymore. That was kind of a fun thing to do for a long time, but just with everything going on in my life since January, to be perfectly honest, I don't feel as much about ranting about things as I used to. That's one of the biggest changes in me in this year, is that I just don't feel like ranting as much. And my day-to-day life isn't interesting enough for me to just do daily vlogs. I mean, I literally sit behind a computer most of the day, or I'm running around doing errands, and I'm not going to be filming while I'm driving, and I'm not going to film in grocery stores and that kind of thing, because it's it's not something I want to do, and I don't want to draw that kind of attention to myself, because that's just not who I am. So I'm not going to be doing that kind of stuff. I have thought about, because I have been doing a lot more cooking at home lately, I'm using a service called Sunbasket, which I'm not being sponsored by them at all, just disclaimer right there. But I've been using them since last year. My husband and I were looking for a solution where we could not have so much food waste when we cook at home, have some variety. I'm imaginative to a point, but then having to come up with recipes every week and go to the grocery store and buy things, and my husband was very picky and wanted lots of variety, and so one thing led to another, and we decided to try the service, and we both really liked it. There's different food every week. The food's been really good. I've been really happy with the product and everything. I know there's a lot of others. Blue Apron is out there, and Home Kitchen, I think. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of these services where basically they send you a recipe in a box full of fresh groceries, and you do all the chopping and slicing and dicing and everything else, and you put it all together. And the beauty of that is that you can actually throw your own creativity into the dish if you want to, which is something I love to do, where I'm like, hey, you know what, like there was one recipe, I forget exactly which one it was, but there was one recipe where it called for a cup of water, and I was like, you know what, white wine would be really good with this, and so I put a cup of white wine instead, and I was right, it was really good. So so that kind of thing. So I do tend to put my own twist on things in terms of how I prepare the meal, or how I plate the meal, that kind of thing. And I do like getting fancy with my dishes and stuff. And I think there should be a link down below to my Instagram, and you can actually see photos of all the meals that I've been preparing for the last year, because I just have a lot of fun making fancy presentations with the food and putting it on Instagram. That's just kind of another thing that I've kind of enjoyed doing, and it's one of the few social media things I've been doing that I haven't slacked off on too much. So take a look at that, and I may or may not start doing that. I do 3 meals a week, so I could do up to 3 videos a week of that, maybe. Maybe I'll just do 1, I don't know. What do you think? Would you want to see me cooking? I don't want this to be like a cooking channel though. That's not my point of this. I just want that to be one aspect. So kind of adding in the cooking thing. And then one thing I keep meaning to do, I just haven't gotten around to it yet, is I was in Chicago back in June, and I took a bunch of photos and some video and that kind of thing of my trip to Chicago, because I hadn't gone back and visited my nieces and nephews for about 4 years, and so it was about time. So would you want me, if I do travel and stuff, to, you know, like maybe do a travel video? I've done some in the past. I don't know how popular they are, but you know, if I do travel and take photos and some videos and stuff and stitch it together into a kind of like a travel vlog kind of a thing, would you like to see that? I wouldn't do any like live vlogging where I vlog there and just upload when I'm there. It's more like I would just take a bunch of photos and maybe some video while I'm traveling and then stitch it all together into like a montage when I get back. So that's another thing I could add. So I could add cooking, I can add travel, and the occasional of me sitting here talking to you guys. And you know, I have a new little reading nook that I kind of set up for myself here. This is a loft area right outside my office. In fact, right behind me this way is my office, where I was filming just like with the gray wall and everything for a while. But I was thinking that maybe that was a little bit too boring. Just the gray wall behind me. So I don't know. So I'm trying this kind of a setup, and I don't know, what do people think? Does that look nice? So if I feel like just talking to the camera, maybe not ranting, maybe just talking about what's going on with my day, or just whatever, I want to just get something off my chest. Or if you guys have questions in terms of like, hey, we would love to hear you talk about X, Y, and Z, you know, leave me comments and I'll put together videos and stuff. And I might start doing more of like doing a shout out on Twitter and saying, hey, send me some questions and things, and I could do some Q&A videos either about, you know, being a widow, I could do that, or about my gaming, about my writing that I've been doing for the last year and a half, which I've been really enjoying. And by the way, I'm still working on that novel. The novel itself is done. It was done last November, but I'm still going through the editing process. So I did the first full edit revision, and I finished that about a month ago. Yeah, just about a month ago. And so when I first finished the book, it was my husband and a friend of mine who read it and gave me feedback on it. And I kind of collected all the feedback. I had them write it down. And obviously when everything happened with my husband, I really wasn't in the mood to sit there looking through his notes and making edits to my novel based on it. I had to get to a point where I was okay doing that. And so I finally got to a point a few months ago where I finally started going in and going through the notes and starting to make the revisions, and just kind of going through and making my own revisions as I kind of rethought a few things. I wasn't happy with the pacing in a few areas, and I'm still unhappy with the pacing in a few areas. But that being said, I did the first revision, and then I actually sent it out to several other friends. I actually have about 5 people who have been reading it now and have given me some really good feedback. And so just having different eyeballs, different perspectives, just kind of come back to me and say, hey, it's great if someone says, hey, this is a great book, we really love it, but I need more than that. It's like, okay, like, well, why did you do this here? Why did you make this choice here? The pacing here seems really fast. The pacing here seems really slow. I'd love to know more detail about blah. That kind of feedback, and I'm so grateful. Again, like I said, I have wonderful friends, and so they've been really great about giving me that kind of feedback, and not, oh, well, this sucks, or this is great, or it's nice to have people praise it, but it's like, okay, I know it's not perfect, so please don't say it's perfect the way it is. Where are areas I can improve on? And I've gotten that kind of feedback, and in the exact areas where I was unhappy with the pacing is exactly where a lot of the feedback came to, and people were kind of gave me like, well, gee, I would like to know more about this, and that is really kind of helping me unlock in my brain, like, okay, that's going to really help me with the pacing. I can add this, take out that kind of thing. And so it's been a really fun process to kind of go through the first round of feedback and edits and kind of revisit the story after almost a year. And now, once again, getting feedback, and I'm going to revisit the story one more time. I'm going to go through it And then I think I have a friend who's going to go through and proofread it as well. I'm hoping I caught most of the typos and grammatical errors by now, but there's probably some still lurking in there somewhere. So I will make sure that that will be taken care of. And then once that's done, and I feel it's relatively polished at that point, that's when I'm going to go out and start shopping around for literary agents and see if I can get it published. And if I can't, I'll just self-publish. One way or the other, this will be on Amazon. I think I've said that before, but like I said, still working on it. I'm still really enjoying it. And I've decided I'm going to do NaNoWriMo again this year, although I don't have an original novel in mind to write. So what I'm doing instead, because I do a lot of fan fiction writing, I still do a lot of fan fiction writing. I've probably written almost as much fan fiction this year as I did last year. Now last year I pretty much only wrote Dragon Age fan fiction. I think I had one Sailor Moon story, which was the first fan fiction story I ever wrote, and then everything else was Dragon Age after that. This year I started writing Merlin. I really loved that show. I mean, I actually didn't even, I only watched it like the end of last year is when my husband and I Netflixed that whole series. We just kind of binge watched that whole series. And I've actually started doing some Merlin stuff. I haven't done a lot for Merlin, but I have started to. And Teen Wolf is another one that kind of sucked me in recently, and I'm only on season 3, but I still wrote. Basically what I'm doing with Teen Wolf is I'm not doing a complete chaptered story like I do with a lot of my fan fiction. It's like a series of one-shots. One-shots are like a single, kind of like a single chapter, but that's the full story. The beginning, middle, end is one single chapter, and that's it. And that's where in the fan fiction community we call it a one-shot. And so I did the initial one-shot. I did an idea that popped in my head, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, we want more, we want more." But I didn't have a complete, cohesive, chaptered story that I wanted to tell with that. So what I ended up doing is just writing another one-shot further on in time because it's kind of an alternative universe version of Teen Wolf. And so I was like, okay, I took my version, my alternate universe version of Teen Wolf, and just wrote another one-shot with the characters and the pairing and everything that I did. So that's what I'm going to do with Teen Wolf right now, is that. And Supernatural is going to be another one that I plan to write for. Haven't started doing anything, and I have a couple of ideas in mind, but I have like 4 or 5 story ideas that I want to write. I've got one that I have ongoing right now for Dragon Age that I'm finishing up, and then I have a Dragon Age one that I've been planning that is perfect for NaNoWriMo because it has the potential of being a really long story. And NaNoWriMo, you're supposed to write 50,000 words, so I have it's a good enough story with enough meat to it that I could easily write 50,000 words for this fan fiction story. So I have that planned as well. So I'm gonna keep myself busy. I still have my consulting business. I haven't been doing as much consulting myself this year. I've been primarily just giving my projects to my subcontractors for obvious reasons. I mean, I just was not in a good headspace this year, and I've just been really lucky that I've had enough work to give my subcontractors that I've been able to, because I obviously take a percentage cut of the work that they do. I close the deals, I get the contract signed, I have the relationship with the client, so I get my cut of the money that we make. But and thankfully that's been enough to sustain me this year. That and the money that my husband left. Which, a lot of people are like, oh, you're lucky, you're rich, and blah, blah, blah. And to be perfectly honest, if I could give every single penny, mine and his combined if I had to get him back, I would. I seriously just, but since I can't get him back, that's not going to happen. I did, because one of his wishes was to donate 10% of his estate to charity to support research for depression and suicide prevention, that kind of thing. So I did do that. That was something that both myself and his family agreed, because there wasn't a legal will, so we kind of had to look through his list of wishes that he wrote down, and thankfully we agreed with each other on what to do about all the different points in there. And that was one of the points, was to make that donation. And I went ahead and because we donated to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I did the Out of Darkness walk a couple weeks ago, again with some friends who came with me to support me and everything. And even though, because of the donation, I was the top donating team this year, I actually asked them to, number one, not include me in the ceremonies, because I really didn't want to just go up on stage. I was going to break down, I knew it, I just really didn't want to get up on stage and have the cameras and just... So I said, you know what, let the next team after me, let them go up there. And then I think there was like, I think they were giving away baseball tickets and a whole bunch of other prizes and things. And I was like, let the other teams have that. I didn't take any of it because, to be perfectly honest, that's not why I donated. I donated because I wanted to help. And, you know, it was my husband's wish, but it's my wish too, is to try and do what we can to help reduce the suicide rates, because, you know, no one else should ever have to go through this. You know, as a survivor of someone who's done this, there are no words, and let me just not go into that rant right now, because now is not the time. But anyway, I think I've talked enough today, and sorry for talking your ears off, because I tend to do that, don't I? I ramble. This is the rambling Thursday vlog. No, I'm not renaming it. I think probably what I'm gonna do is, like, if I feel like vlogging, I'll vlog. If I feel like filming cooking, I'll film cooking. If I have a travel thing, I'll throw that up there. And if there's any other random stuff, like, you know, maybe I take the dogs to the dog park and maybe I film that. So things are gonna be a lot more random. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna be uploading. I'll try at least once every other week, or weekly, or I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna try to increase my frequency. How's that? Since I haven't posted in several months, I think that's gonna be easy enough to do. But anyway, that's enough from me. You know, hopefully, maybe I'll do this for another 5 years, maybe not, I don't know. But it's been an interesting ride the last 5 years. Looking back and how much has changed, and that's Joey jingling in the background there. You can see his shadow in the camera. He's just coming up to say hi. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.